Welcome back. So, what do you do if your wheel falls off? That's pretty bad, huh? Well, it just really depends what happened. So, on this F-150 here, you can see, I mean, the lug studs just got sheared off and the wheel fell off. Most likely due to somebody not torquing the wheel, would be my guess. Also, this caliper is seized. So we're gonna take that caliper off right now and then let's take a look in there. All right, so you can see there, every single lug sheared off. So fortunately on this, we should be able to pop these out and then just get, put some new lug studs in there. It's gonna need a new rotor. You can see, ground a whole little flat spot in it. So I'm sure that wasn't fun for them. I mean, it should be a pretty straightforward repair, and then I guess they never recovered the wheel. So we got to get that spare tire on there, but that's how you go about doing that. And then when I get the new lug studs in there, I'm going to show you guys how to install them and then remove these as well. All right, so I already popped out the old wheel studs. I just heated it up a little bit, and then I got a punch and I just in a big hammer, and I just whacked them out. They were in there pretty good. Sorry I didn't film that, but I mean, essentially they're just popping them out the back, and then however I got these in, I just push them through the back, and then there's like little grooves right here, and as you pull the lug nut through, it'll like, I already did this one, so you can't spin it. Okay, so I just need to go put it in, I had it in neutral because there was one of these I couldn't get in, so I had to spin it. But now that I've got them all in there, I'm just gonna go put it back in park, so it'll lock the differential from spinning and I can get them on there easier. One sec. Also, I forgot to mention, I got my son at the camera today, so seems to be doing a pretty good job. All right, so I mean, there's different ways you could do this. I don't recommend using an impact. When you're pulling that through with an impact, sometimes you can bung up these threads or stretch them, and then you just have to replace it again. So just be careful when it comes to that. And so, like, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, but it's still loose in there. I need to suck it through, so I'm gonna grab this rounded edge right here with these Nip-X pliers, and then I'm going to tighten this. And once I get this one done, I'll pull that tool off so you guys can see. This is a special lug nut or lug stud installer tool, and I'll show you guys how that works. You also want to use some penetrating oil on the threads. Once again, you don't want to strip them, bung them up, stretch them. That'd be bad. Then you got to do them all over again. So just go slowly and it'll suck right in. And then, just a note about that penetrating oil. When you're done doing this, you want to spray it off with some brake clean, because you don't want penetrating oil on a stud like this. I don't know if you can see, it's getting sucked in on that side, but yeah, you don't want penetrating oil on lug nuts. I mean, this is one of those things where you don't want it coming loose. That's why this wheel fell off. Either they weren't torqued. I mean, he did the brakes himself, so that's what I would guess. But I mean, they fell off because they weren't torqued or whatever. But that's my guess. So once it's seated, it's seated. You don't need to like give it all you got. And then just reverse it. And this is just a 3/8 impact, but I'm just using it to take this off. So All right, so here's that lug nut installer tool, and it's pretty simple. It's just got a bearing and it's cupped in there for this cup, and just kind of allows it to smoothly pull it in. You know, sometimes I'll order another lug nut to just do that because I don't know, sometimes they get messed up. It just is what it is. So you can buy these on Amazon or wherever. I'll leave a link in the description, so you guys, if you're interested, you can grab one of these. It's a pretty sweet little tool. All right, so I got 3 more to go. Just having him get a shot from this angle as well, in case you guys couldn't see from over there. But I mean, they're all the same. I just wanted to show the process. And really, you don't need to hold that on there after it's like over halfway in. It's not going to spin. And like I said, you don't want to like give it all you got. You just want to snug it so it's flush. Anytime you can add less stress to those threads, the better. Because like I was just telling my kid, you know, anytime you can lessen the friction, you're going to lessen the heat, and the it's just going to, everything is just going to go on smoother. It's going to get that rotor on, and then we need to lower that spare tire. Just kind of showing you guys the whole process, like in case your wheel falls off and well, you're trying to figure out what to do, how to fix it. Initially it was just kind of showing that horrible rotor, but what help is that to you? So, and then also we need to service that caliper, clean it up because of that Vaseline or whatever they put in there. Okay, you see, like there's a lot of times there's like a glue. You want to get that off your new rotor. So that was quite a bit, but I usually just put a little bit on there and just a little brake clean and just clean them up, because that stuff will contaminate your pads and basically ruin them right off the get-go. So just don't screw yourself unless, you know, on purpose. Just take a little bit extra time, you know, because they'll bed into the pad and then contaminate them, and there's really no fixing that other than replacing the pad. So we don't want to do that. There was actually a considerable amount of glue on this one. It's like so the rotor doesn't rust while it's, you know, sitting on the shelves or whatever. But okay, so like I said, you want to see, I can even see residue from that penetrating oil. You just want to clean up those threads, if there's any gunk on them or whatever. And this is actually really important. You don't want to forget to do that. You know, you don't want to give these any reason to loosen, unless, you know, you're taking them off on purpose. So just always get any contaminants off there. Very important, or your wheel will fall off, obviously. So, and then I'm just gonna clean up these the little slide for the bracket. All that dirt and debris, it'll hang up the pads or caliper. Actually, this one goes in these little grooves on the pads. I'll show you in a minute. But also, just spray out the inside where this park brake is. It's pretty nasty. So, oh yeah, look, now we can see part numbers on those. All this needs to be replaced eventually. All the hardware and everything, they get rusty and they don't work right. But this is just the park shoes, and you know, he wasn't wanting me to do anything really. He wanted to use this old rotor, and it kind of had a fit when I told him there's no way that I'm putting that back on there, and he couldn't understand why he couldn't make it back home, which is like an hour or so away. I think this is the first time in my entire career that I've replaced a single rotor. I don't ever recommend that. You want your rotors to be the same. You want them to be, you know, or you're going to get it pulling. You're going to get, I mean, he wanted to bring me a used rotor that he's had sitting around, and that's just not going to happen. That's not the right way to do it. He's aware that, you know, he needs to do a full brake job, and I don't know why he, he's just a cheapskate. I don't know. I probably shouldn't say that about my customers on here, but okay. So then I usually get like a just one of those lug nuts, and I get that little cup in like, once you push this in or get it in there, it'll put that. So what I was trying to say is, you don't want it to be offset, because it will, I mean, it could vibrate, it could, and it, you know, sometimes it makes it hard to get the caliper on there. You want it to be centered where it should be. Yeah, so we got that clean, and you don't lubricate these. Keep in mind that any type of lubrication, grease on those is going to gather dust and dirt and debris, and it'll seize the pads. So the only place you want like the caliper grease is on the back side of this, where it touches the pad, and then where the piston touches this pad. You don't want just grease all up in here. It will cake up with dirt and debris, and it's not good. So, and I got this caliper sitting there. It sat there pretty well. Really, you want to use a hook or a wire or something and secure it, because if it falls, well, now you need to buy a brake line. It will damage it, most likely. If they fall, they get replaced every time. Remember, if that pops, you lose your brakes, and that could be very dangerous. So you need to take, even though this is a simple job, you know, brakes and suspension, you need to make sure that when you do this type of stuff, you pay close attention. You know, you torque things to spec, you put it together correctly, because any type of error can, it can be deadly, you know, cause serious injury to you or somebody else on the road, and we don't want that. So, all right, let's see here. I guess I got some rags. So we want to take this out, and they put like Vaseline or something on there, and it's all coagulated, and to tell you the truth, I'm not sure what they put on there, but it doesn't look right, and it smells like Vaseline. But anyways, so take those out, just wipe them off with a rag. Well, I'll probably brake clean them here in a second, but I did want to take this out this side. You can take these, you just take them completely out, and we're gonna spray it out with some brake clean. I was just telling my son about keeping your stuff organized, or things become a pain in the ass, and here I am with crap everywhere. So anyways, just want to clean all that off of there. You know, just the fact that I'm not sure what it is. You want to use high temp caliper grease, you know, something like this, and it's usually either like clearish or black or white, but you know, you don't want a bunch of crap in there that's not supposed to be in there. And I think these are the same, so you don't have to really worry about messing them or like mixing them up. But stuff's washing out pretty easy. If it doesn't, you want to use like a little wire, like a little, you can hook it onto your drill and it just spins little bristles or whatever if it's really nasty. This cleaned out really easy, actually. It's just odd. So I'm going to do the same thing with these little holes. I'm going to blow them out with some brake clean. just to try to clean them as best as possible. And remember, this is not a full brake job. I'm just cleaning up a mess, basically, best I can. He was pretty, like I was saying, he was pretty descriptive. He doesn't want anything, you know, he's gonna do it himself, I guess, to save a few bucks. Like I was saying, dude, if you're gonna do that, do your research. You know, get on YouTube, get on Google, do it the right way, because this could be life or death. Okay, this little thing is running pretty low, unfortunately. So, and you don't need to fill that with grease. You just, you know, you want to make sure it's like evenly coated. Just get a little brush on there, and I mean, like right now, it's kind of thick. You know, remember, it will gather dust. You know, if there's a little crack in that sleeve or whatever, and that's when they seize and get hot and give you problems. So I'm trying to kind of wipe some of it off. Okay, that's pretty good. We just don't want it to be like slathered on there. You know what, actually, there's still some brake clean residue in there. I'm gonna let it dry for a second. Okay, so I'll let them dry out a little bit. The brake clean evaporates fairly quick. And you remember when I pulled that bolt out of there, the caliper bolt, it was greased. That's not where the grease needs to be. The grease needs to be on the outside of this. You don't want grease on your threads. Once again, you can't properly torque something if it's greased. So, and I mean, these, of course, I left my my gloves in there, and this is like the nastiest part, and yeah, so okay, I put that other one back in already. I'm just gonna get this one up in there, and I just kind of shove it in that hole and all the way through and then back, and you want to snap the little nipples on there, and once again, clean it. You know, you don't want a bunch of grease anywhere that's visible, and you don't want it, you know, you want to be moderate about it. You know, brake clean is probably not the best thing to spray this with, but you know, in the long run, it'll deteriorate this rubber and allow dirt to get in. That's the whole point of it, is to keep the dirt out. But it is what it is. I wiped it off. So haters gonna hate. All right, now same thing with these bolts. I'm going to spray them off. I'm gonna get all that crap off the threads. You don't want grease on the threads. And I know I'm kind of repeating myself here, but it's just a very, very important thing to realize when you're doing brakes. This is like, whenever I see, you know, shitty brake jobs come into the shop, it's all because people have made these mistakes. So, you know, in this video, I'm attempting to help some out there that may need that help. Okay, that's odd. See, right there, that's like orange. I think that's silicone. No, it's like they tried to silicone that backing plate back on or something. Like I said, see those slide pins? Something wasn't right there, and it has caused some uneven brake wear. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but there was definitely something going on before this caliper exploded on itself. We're actually gonna have to retract that piston. Okay, so I'm gonna pop these pads out because, well, for one, we need to push that caliper in, or the piston, and these brake pads, they can be kind of a bear, and I don't have a screwdriver out here. Well, that works pretty good actually. So once they go back on, it'll be kind of easier for me to describe this. But they just kind of, this little thing, it just pops over and then it sits in these little holes, and that keeps it where it should be. So we're going to take those pads off, and then you can pop this pad out, and we can see that's like dried, it's hard. Somebody put like, it's silicone, it's orange silicone. Don't ever do that on a brake pad. So I'm just going to clean it out a little bit, and that we are going to lubricate this properly. I'll show you guys what I was talking about before. And you want to clean the back where the backing plate hits on these. This brush has seen better days, I'll tell you that. But yeah, this is kind of what I consider like a caliper service. You know, if you're not replacing the caliper or you know, the pads, you're just kind of servicing the caliper. You want to make sure that the slide pins slide nice and smoothly. You want to make sure these are clean. You just want to go real slow and just push it back in. You know, sometimes if that piston is seized, you know, you'll be able to tell by doing it this way. So, I mean, we probably don't need to go all the way in because those pads are a little worn, but I'm gonna go quite a ways. And then when you're doing this, like I'm literally using one finger and pulling it. As soon as you feel it bottom out or stop. Don't push that piston in farther. I keep saying I'm gonna do it the quick way, and then I'm gonna show you guys the right way. So I'm just waiting for it to, you know, not go easy. You'll feel it. Right there. That's it. Don't push it farther or you'll destroy the caliper. And then I'm gonna have to clean all that crap off there again. Actually going to clean all that stuff out of there, all that dirt and stuff. It just causes squeaks and random noises, and you don't want that. So same thing all over again. We're going to grease it. And you don't, like when you're going around that piston lip, you know, just the excess from this is most likely going to be enough. Like you don't want a thick layer. You just want it to not make noise when it's rubbing up against that backing plate. And then you want to clean up areas where you don't want the grease, because it'll just attract dust. So just do clean work. You know, kind of go around that piston top, just get any excess that may have got on there. So then we're just going to grab this one. Typically you got to push those ones in first, then you just pop that little jaw inside the piston, and it'll snap. So snap in place, and then you grab this one, and it's just kind of in the reverse order that we took it off. You just want to pull it on there, and that's upside down. Okay, don't do that either. All right. Okay, so that brake pad's in place. Feels like there's little grooves, and there. You want to make sure it's in those grooves. So once that's done, you're going to bring it back over here, and you want to set it on there. Let's see here. I feel like, well, okay, so yeah, this little slide pin is too far and it's not allowing the caliper to go in like it should. So is this one. I swear when I start filming stuff, it's like I move quick and I make stupid mistakes, it seems like, but I don't know why it's not. Oh, it's that bottom one now. Okay, so now that's in place. This one sets on the groove, and then these ones are just kind of on the outer, it appears. So now we get those caliper bolts, put them through the center there. Always start them by hand. Never just shove them in there, or like, you know, just force them in like with an impact or something. So then, you know, you just want to tighten those up. I just got this Icon swivel head, like, you know, kind of long reach ratchet, and it's I got it like 2 weeks ago, and it's now my go-to. I use this thing for everything. I would be willing to bet that it's every bit as good as like a tool truck name brand ratchet. Icon is really blowing it out of the water right now. You know, if you're looking for some other options, you know, and you're looking for some professional level, good quality tools, look no further. Icon, I'm telling you, everything that I've got from them has been phenomenal. As a matter of fact, that 1/2-inch Icon ratcheting wrench that I was installing these studs with, I've had that for like 2 years, and it's also phenomenal. Okay, so the brakes are done now. However, remember, we did spread that caliper, so you want to go in the truck and you want to pump the brakes a little bit until it gets hard, so they're seated on the caliper. I'm gonna go do that. I'll be right back. Now we need to get that spare tire down. So grab the key. I believe it's this key, hopefully, and you're gonna see like a little plug back here. So you want to unlock that. There we go. I don't think this thing's been out in a while. Oh, and it's locked in there until I take it out. So we're gonna put the tool through there. It's got a pull cue back there. So I believe this this should be the toolkit. I don't see anything else under there. Hopefully this is it. Otherwise, I might have to go try to find one somewhere in the shop. So I'm gonna have to put it together. And there's quite a few pieces here. So what you're gonna do is, I haven't used one of these in quite some time, so I'm not sure which end goes where. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's like putting tent poles together. But you stick this through there, and I actually got to go get my flashlight. Cameraman had to run and grab me something, but so it's my flashlight, also an Icon. And it's the best flashlight I've ever had, hands down. It's got light up there, light on this side, light on the front. It's got a super strong magnet. You know, it swivels, it the thing's, you know, it's rechargeable. You don't have to buy batteries for it. And I've had this for about 6 months. Like I said, best flashlight I've ever had. And I always tell people a flashlight is going to be your best tool. So you can kind of see there's like a little funnel shaped thing in there. So that's just to catch this this pole. And I know it's really hard to see, but kind of right directly where my light is shining. We're gonna stick that through there and turn it, and this wheel will lower down. So we are gonna have to move this jack, unfortunately. So like I was just telling my kid, I ran over there real quick and put that back under there. It's for an extra measure of support. You know, we don't got a wheel over there, and we're on a hill. You know, never jack something up on a hill, but this is where the stupid tow truck driver left it, so it is what it is. Okay, so we're gonna get this little hole inside of that funnel, and then it'll lock into place like that. And then I'm just gonna grab this other part, which is also, it's probably what he torqued it down with. And you're going to spin it. And then once it's completely off the ground, that cable will lower a little bit, and you grab it and you just pull it through. It's gonna have to go down farther. We got all kinds of treasures in here. Oh. This is difficult from this angle. And you just pull it up through there. Voila, we got it fired. So I did spray a little penetrating oil on here on purpose, just because it's kind of rusty, and that stuff's really good at disintegrating that and preventing it from compounding on top of itself and, you know, rusting it straight to the rotor, essentially. This might help. Once again, you don't want it on the threads. Okay, so my son brought me some gloves. He was concerned. All right. So now it's just pretty straightforward. From here on, it's just like finishing the brake job. You know, you're gonna put the wheel back on. So, see, I had it centered, and then, you know, this clamp down on there, and hopefully it's just in a good spot. Some cars, it doesn't really matter. Some cars, if you get it offset, it does. It screws with the hardware and makes noise. Okay, now, oh man, got like a bunch of rusted crap all over those threads. Everything about this is just rusty and crusty. Biggest thing, you just don't want things in threads when you're torquing them. You don't want gunk, you don't want oil, you don't want anything on there. So just kind of clean off all that crap. I know, just it'll look nicer. Years worth of gunk on there. So then once again, you want to center this, and this little cup section here, I'll show you how I put these on to center the wheel, because you don't just hammer them on like the first one. You don't just hammer it on. you want to make sure that the wheel's in the right position. And that's where I kind of like this 3/8 impact for stuff like this, because it's not just gonna like ugga dugga, you know. It's so like right there, it's still loose, but the cup is centered. I'll go, and you see it kind of rotates the wheel. Now crisscross. Then I go in a circle. Okay, so now it's on. Now all we got to do is, well, we got to crank up that little cable and then just set it down, torque all the wheels. I'm gonna go check every single wheel and make sure they're torqued, and we're good to go. Okay, so last but not least, gotta torque those wheels. So on these, the spec is 150 foot-pounds. So that 3/8 definitely does not get it on there at that amount of torque. So I'm just going evenly in a crisscross pattern. It might take a couple stages, especially because these are new studs and new nuts. They might stretch a little bit, it's hard to say. I don't think they're torque to yield or anything like that, but yeah, so okay. Once again, crisscross pattern. And then I go in a circle just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Sometimes you'll accidentally, you know, skip one or something, and so done. Now I'm gonna go to the rest of the wheels and just check the torque just to make sure, but we're done. So all of those wheels were not at spec. None of them were torqued. That's why the wheel fell off. So just keep that in mind, you know. It is so important. You know, he could have died. It could have been serious. He was going, you know, over 60 miles an hour down a mountain pass, windy pass, and tire fell off. So take that stuff seriously, you know. When you're torquing someone's wheel, you know, that's their life in your hands. That's one of those things that you just always do. So just keep that in mind. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. Got my helper here, expert cameraman now, and maybe you'll see more of him. So this was kind of fun. He's got the day off school, and I don't get a lot of time to teach him stuff like this and walk him through. I mean, he saw the whole process, which is pretty cool. You know, for a 9-year-old, this kid knows more about cars than 90% of my clients, and that's, I mean, that's the truth. It's not, I'm not exaggerating. This will be the new face of Maxwell Automotive. So anyways, stay tuned. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.